I've only got 5 minutes here. I'm not going to be able to go down the rabbit hole, which you can do with this topic. And, gratefully got asked to do a talk last week, but I was basically finishing these last night. So, don't expect anything super special. And I'm not seeking to come down from the mountain, really. This is more of a kind of, where are we with this? What does this mean for SigStore? Now that we're seeing a lot more code generated by generative AI, large language models. All right, so yeah, I'm Luke, I'm from Stacklok. We're a company that we're building a software supply chain platform that's recently donated to the OpenSSF, and that is something that is a verifier of SigStore attestations. And we also have a threat heuristics platform that we built, which also utilizes SigStore. And there's a really good, let's see if I can get my speaker notes. Sorry, just bear with me. Okay. No. All right, I'm going to have to just wing it. Okay. So, there's actually a really good talk I recommend you watch later from Poppy, where she used SigStore as part of a chain of signals to discover some North Korean threat attackers that were seeking to compromise developers. So it's a really cool talk, so I recommend you make it if you can. So, there's obviously been a fundamental change in how people code. Okay, and I spent quite a while watching Twitch streams and YouTube channels, trying to see how engineers develop code now, because I'm somebody, an engineer for years now, over 20 years, and it's totally transformed to what I've seen as a kind of a standard development flow. And one of the things that's obvious is there's this kind of loop, we call it an inner loop. Okay, so there is things originate with a prompt from a developer or perhaps an agent. It then goes into the LLM, there's output, and there's no reason for somebody to leave that prompt. So what we're noticing is that folks stay predominantly within the IDE. Okay, they have no need to sort of Google an issue or ask how to do something. You've got this sort of semantic knowledge engine that's available right in front of you. And this obviously has a lot of security concerns. Some of the things that we've been seeing is people using LLMs generating private keys, cryptographic properties, all sorts of stuff. And these systems have, if you've seen, they have the ability to shell out and actually run commands and so forth. So trying to think about, what could this mean for SigStore? So there's been various reports out there talking about the increase in code, okay, the productivity unlock that's happening for developers. So you can naturally derive from this that means there's more packages, there's more releases that are being shipped within a faster period. And I tried to do some number crunching around, the kind of the increases and how could those correlate to packages. And I soon started to realize that, I was making a lot of assumptions there. But I think one of the things that it could clearly see, and I think we got the capacity to manage this, definitely, is there could be a significant uptick in the amount of packages that are produced because the volume of commits are coming at such a faster rate. Productivity is very much being unlocked for people. So we could see some substantial upticks in package and artifact generation. I think the other thing is a key thing, which Bob sort of touched on, is what does identity mean now? Okay, so if you look at a lot of areas, code will surface with a human identity. There's effectively a human that's mapped to that contribution. But a lot of the time, this code is generated by machines, okay? And that machine is an unseen entity. How do you understand the contextual background of that entity? A human, I can see a pull request and I can understand there's somebody there. I can look at their past contribution record, other projects that they've developed, and that no longer exists in this context. And this is something that's been particularly eye-opening because we do a lot of stuff in Stacklok around graphing of contributions. Okay, and we're starting to notice a hell of a lot of new contributors coming online. Accounts being created very quickly, and then and then a flurry of activity afterwards. We're starting to look at what sort of threat heuristics we can derive from that. You then have the aspect of agentic workflows as well, where there's multiple agents that coordinate building software together. And effectively, what does this mean? There could be multiple large language models that have surfaced within a single PR. There's multiple agents working on this. What data sets were they trained with? Was there any, was there decent guardrails around the outputs that it could produce and so forth? A lot of concerns there. So there are some efforts underway. I recommend making the talk a bit later. Mihai and Parth are going to go into the work that's happening in SigStore around model transparency, where they're looking at data set signing, model signing, and then leveraging Salsa for that. And we've also, we're not looking to build another competing project. We're going to look to work within this, but we're doing a lot within Stacklok as well. We do a lot of machine learning. We generate a lot of models, not necessarily large language models, some of the more traditional sort of data science approaches. So we're looking at what we can also do around leveraging SigStore to start signing the tens of files and the various configs and data sets, so that we can start to produce model provenance as well. So yeah, that concludes. As I said, it's a little bit of a whirlwind, but it's good to be here, and look forward to catching up with folks later. Thank you.